Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, the town of Plymouth, Connecticut, is shutting down its local swingers club.
And Tony Kornheiser, it's okay. I hadn't been there in months. The only thing I feel bad about, Mike, is that I'd earned a free session. You know, you have a card, they punch the card.
Yeah,
after 10
points.
Times in there, the next one's free, and you know, I would have appreciated
Frequent Swinger Club. What is this, the 1970s? What?
Pretty
Come
much.
on.
What a great decade. 1970s is great. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the NBA finds Ja Morant. The New York Giants could pick between two Colorado stars. And Jay Billis joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the game you attended last night, Wilbon, Warriors and Lakers. The Warriors won by 7. They were in control most of the game. Steph Curry led all scorers with 37. LeBron had 33. Luka Doncic shot just 6 of 17 from the floor and labeled his performance unacceptable. So, Wilbon, what did you take away from this game?
A lot of takeaways, Tony. The first one is just a really obvious one. If you get the chance to watch LeBron James and Steph Curry go at it in a 7-game series, I mean, it's a treat. I mean, you should feel like, yes, this is an appointment. Let me sit down and enjoy this and tell everybody I know, sit down and watch these guys, 2 of the all-time greats, play each other and lead their teams. It's just fabulous, Tony. And, you know, the Luka Doncic issue for the Lakers in the game, the competition, and the Warriors winning it. Luka Doncic struggled, and it wasn't just because he missed shots. He was forced into misses. Golden State's scrambling defense is really strategically smart and tough-minded and disciplined, and they executed well, and Jimmy Butler's at the center of it like we thought. And the Warriors feel different about themselves over these last few weeks as getting Jimmy Butler. They believe they can win a championship. Draymond Green wasn't just spouting off when he said that. And they went on the road last night, and the Lakers gave it everything. Because the Lakers don't want to be in a play-in either. And they'd like to have Golden State and Denver play each other in the 4-5 spot. And that means winning and suppressing them. And they couldn't do it. And Doncic can say all he wants, well, I got to be better. He's right, and he owned it, and that was impressive. But it wasn't just about that. The switching defense that Golden State can employ, and they're better at small ball than the Lakers, at least right now. There are a lot of takeaways, but it was thrilling to sit there and watch that competition between those two and isolated on those 2 players. Thrilling to watch, Tony.
So the Warriors won a game that they needed to win. They needed to win this game more than the Lakers needed to win it because they, could have been pushed back into a precarious situation that would have led to the play-in tournament. All right, and the Lakers didn't face anything quite that severe and dire in the moment. I don't want to talk about the playoffs because I think we spend too much time on this show in the regular season talking about the NBA playoffs. And I'm not interested in comparing who got the better of the deal with their most recent acquisitions, whether it's Jimmy Butler going over to the Warriors or Luka Doncic to the Lakers. I'm going to take the long view on that in 2 years, when Jimmy Butler is 37, he'll be hanging on, and Luka Doncic, because he plays in L.A., is going to be the biggest star in the game. But much like you, my takeaway is very simple. How great is it to watch Steph Curry and LeBron James? How great is it after all these years to continue to watch them, and almost always on contending teams, almost always in games that matter? LeBron James is the best 40-year-old basketball player of all time. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, and they are remarkably clutch, as we learned in the Olympics, and they are natural entertainers. So what else do you want? Right? Yeah. What else do you want?
Tony, it was entertaining in that way, like a continuation of those Olympics, and we saw it on Christmas Day. They do this, and they're up to the moment. It's like having a ticket to the theater. And, it's just amazing to watch, and I hope we can see it, but I don't want to see it in the first round. I mean, give me, I don't want that to be an appetizer.
Don't talk about
that be a main event.
Don't talk about the playoffs, please. Let's stay in the NBA and move to Ja Morant, who hit a shot to win a game last night. Earlier in that game, the very first game since Morant appeared to make a gun gesture and was warned by the league, though neither fined nor suspended. In that very first game since that warning, Morant appeared to make that same gesture and has now been fined $75,000. Wilbon, is this a sufficient deterrent?
No, it's not a deterrent at all. It isn't. because John Morant, and I'm going to include, because everybody around the game and in the industry now knows John Morant and his father. They're in the business of just being defiant. That's what they do. And John Morant has indicated that in interviews. John Morant, is, by the way, is fascinating to talk to and listen to. I mean, he's engaged in his discussions, and he's intentional about his deal. He knows, he says, he's welcoming, he's saying, bring on the booze, I'm the villain, I'm happy with it. And he and his dad are defiant, they're openly defiant. They defied Adam Silver, who, unlike his predecessor, who would have had them sitting in the office or facing a half-season suspension, Adam Silver doesn't want to do it. And maybe he knows he can't do it. Maybe he just doesn't have it in him to do it. It's not a deterrent. And John Morant and his dad, they've called Adam Silver out and said, doesn't matter what you warn us, we're going to do this. Now, you can also take the view that pantomiming this, shooting is not that big a deal. You can take that view. It's not an actual gun. And there's a lot of this in the culture, and it's not just John Morant, and there are other people involved, and they'd have to ban it league-wide in other sports. Soccer, football would have to ban it too. You can take that view, but they don't have the stomach in the NBA commissioner's office to do anything about it, and they're going to continue to defy them.
Yeah, I don't have much knowledge of these gun gestures. I don't know if there's a specific group out there that it appeals to, if there's a specific group out there that is appalled by it. I would reiterate, as you said, it was a pantomime. It was not a real gun, because he's had real guns. Okay, yeah. He had a real gun on social media, and he got suspended for what ended up as 8 games. And then he did it again a few months later, and that time he got 25 games. So we've seen him with real guns do this. Now he gets a warning on a fake gun situation and does it the very next game, which is totally deliberate. It's totally deliberate. It is. And so he ends up being fined $75,000. I don't know that that's a deterrent, but I'm going to read you a quote from him. Everyone should hear this. I'm kind of used to it. I was pretty much a villain for 2 years now. Every little thing, if somebody can say something negative about me, it's going to be out there. So, yeah, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. So how much does Adam Silver care? Because obviously his team doesn't care. They're in the business of firing coaches, not disciplining players. How much does Adam Silver care? You're calling Silver out. I think you're right about this.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Not that much. Or don't issue the warning. I mean, if you decide, okay, it's not that big a deal, which is a fair interpretation, if Adam decided that, okay, but then why warn him? If you say, wait a minute, this is bigger than John Morant, and I'm not going to pin this to him, that's a legitimate discussion. But if you think this is a bad look and a bad thing for your league and to the detriment of your league, to just let him defy you like that, upper hand. Let's move to an intriguing NFL draft scenario. Colorado held its pro day today with quarterback Shedeur Sanders and Heisman-winning two-way star Travis Hunter in the spotlight. Presuming the Titans take Cam Ward, Tony, with the first pick, and the Browns take Abdul Carter with the second pick, the Giants are going to have their choice between Sanders and Hunter at number 3. So in that scenario, which one should they pick?
Okay, the most important thing in my reasoning goes like this. Everyone on the Giants is going to be fired if they stink again next year. If they have 3 wins again next year, or they get to 4 wins next year, that's it. The GM's going to be fired, the coach is going to be fired, everyone in authority is going to be fired. So they have to make a draft that helps them this year. Now, maybe they think there's a longer runway if they draft a quarterback, but didn't they just pick up Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? So if they're going to draft a quarterback, you would think they wouldn't play that quarterback. And if you don't play that quarterback, you're not getting help out of the first pick in the draft. I think you can make the case that Travis Hunter is a better player than Shedeur Sanders now and forever. And you can say of him that he even could have more impact on the Giants this year. Maybe he could win a few games there, and it doesn't look like a quarterback is going to step right in and win those games. So if it was me, I would draft Hunter. I think it's the smarter, safer draft. I'd start him in DB, and I'd have a package of offensive plays every single game for him. That's what I would do.
Tony, I think I agree with you down the line there. You got this whole situation of Coach Dayball, and whether he's going to be there or not, whether the whole regime's going to be there, and why draft a quarterback if those guys are on the hot seat and not for long. The Bears did this.
Yeah, get a guy who can help you right now. Keep
Williams
your job.
and Eberflus. You know, we've seen this. I mean, it did, and it's something that you, as an organization, you do have to consider. But Tony, I was talking to a coach I've known for a lot of years. And he's just a personnel guy. He gets it and got it for his whole career, retired from coaching now. And he told me last week that Travis Hunter is the most talented, or I think he used the word best, football player he's ever seen.
Really?
And this,
Really?
and Tony, there are people who think this. There are plays, Tony, he made a play in the end zone, which I mentioned to this coach. And I pointed that play out, and he knew exactly what I was talking about, where Travis Hunter dives over the line in a goal line stop situation, knocks the ball loose, causes the fumble, and recovers it with a game on the line. He makes plays that only a few people in the history of the NFL make. And I know it's at the college level, but it does seem like it's going to convey. So I think, and I think the answer is Travis Hunter. I think it is.
So let me say that Shedeur Sanders may end up being a great player. He very well could be a great player.
Yes, he may. Yeah.
But this coaching staff won't be there if they don't get help from this draft pick right now. They won't be there. Let's take a break. Coming up, will the Gators beat Auburn for a second time tomorrow? We will ask Jay Billis.
We'll also ask him how Houston matches up with Duke.
The PTI investigative team has learned that the men's Final Four games will be played tomorrow in San Antonio, which is where we find our great friend, the dashing ESPN college basketball analyst, Mr. Jay Billis. We'll start with this, Jay. Tomorrow's early game is Florida and Auburn. Janai Broome says he'll be ready to go after hyperextending his elbow in the regional final. Do you have any concerns about him coming back from this injury?
I do. I mean, I think with that elbow, and he's been banged up in other areas as well. He's had an ankle throughout the year. And then Chad Baker-Mazara is dealing with a thumb issue. I don't think it's going to, he wears a little brace on it. He's going to be able to play, and he should be fine, but it's not optimum conditions. Auburn. But, you know, this time of year, I think everybody says, hey, you know, everyone's banged up. And Janai Broome has played through issues like this throughout the course of the year, but you'd rather have him 100% not having to deal with anything. But, man, if he's injured, you know, last two games, he's had 30 rebounds, and he's averaging like 24 points a game over that stretch, and he's been right there with Cooper Flagg for Player of the Year. If he's injured, I would have liked to have been injured like that.
Of course, Janai Broome's bigger issue is going to be Florida. As you know, Jay, you know because you told us coming into the tournament that Florida you were really impressed with in a million different ways. Do you expect a similar result to the one Florida laid on the Tigers in February?
I think it could be, Michael, but, you know, in that game, Florida didn't have Elijah Martin, their second leading scorer. So I actually did that game, and I was kind of thinking beforehand, I hope Florida can make this a good game. They wound up winning it by dribbling out the clock, so it wasn't in doubt at the end. Florida is probably the most complete team here, and they've got, you know, great guards, 4 great guards, and they've got 4 really good big guys. They're going to be a handful. I think the key for Florida is going to be take care of the ball. They've shown the proclivity to turn it over from time to time, and if they turn it over, I mean, I think for both Auburn and Houston, they've got a little bit of edge coming in because the last time they played their opponent, they lost, and I think that edge tends to help in your preparation. I don't think it helps once the ball's thrown up in the game, but I think it helps as you prepare for it.
I must admit, Jay, I am more interested in the Houston-Duke game. It just seems like something that could be sort of nuclear. We've talked about, more people are familiar with Duke, of course, but this Houston team, particularly defensively, seems to be one of the great teams in recent years. And I'm wondering if there's a comp for you, for Houston, either a team Duke has already played this season or just historically, who do the Cougars remind you of, if anybody?
Well, I mean, if you go look at Duke's schedule, they remind you a little bit of Clemson, but they're much better than Clemson. They're more physical, they're more athletic, they shoot it better. These four teams we have here in this Final Four are historically four of the most efficient teams we've seen in the last 30 years. And we've got them all in 1 year. Four of the top 10 most efficient basketball teams at both ends of the floor are in this Final Four since KenPom.com started in 1997. Houston is unbelievably physical. They're a great offensive rebounding team. They can really slow Duke down, and Duke's got the #1 offense in the country, the most efficient. I think one of the issues, though, is Duke's defense is Duke is really long-armed, especially at the guard position, and Houston's guards are smaller, and they have low release points on their shots. L.J. Cryer, Manuel Sharp, Milos Uzan, they have these kind of low release points, and I think Duke can bother them. The issue is going to be, can Houston put up enough points? You're going to have to score 70 or more to win this game. Heck, Gonzaga put 76 on them, but Houston was able to score in the 80s on Gonzaga. I don't think this game's going to be decided up in the 80s by Houston.
So we will get you out of here on this, having heard everything you've said. Is there a way that you're leaning in the Houston-Duke game?
Hey, before the tournament, I thought Houston would be in the final. I'm going to stick with it because there's no sense, kind of flip-flopping on it. But Duke has played the best of any team in this tournament since the tournament began. And maybe part of that was, they didn't have Cooper Flagg in the ACC tournament semifinal and final. So maybe it took them at a little bit of a discount. But since the tournament started, I mean, they've been shooting over 60% in these games, and their defense has been spectacular. But, this is a week-to-week tournament. It's basically 3 4-team tournaments. Now they're at the last of those 4-team tournaments. This is going to be the hardest to win. And Houston presents a challenge that few other teams present on the physical side. And Duke's going to have to handle those traps. I think you're going to see them run a lot of stuff out of the middle of the floor so don't get pinned to the sideline and pinned to the baseline. But there's going to be a loose ball, rough and tumble. You better be strong with it type game because this is not for wimps. This is going to be a grown man ball game.
Thank you, Jay, and thank you for using the word proclivity.
Thank you.
I mean, proclivity is a word we really pay attention to. You can catch more of Jay tomorrow on College Game Day, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. Let's take one last break. Still to come, we will get Wilbon's picks for the women's Final Four.
And Giannis put up some monster numbers last night against the Sixers. Monster numbers.
Happy time, people. Happy 32nd birthday, Frank Kaminsky. Kaminsky was a terrific player at Wisconsin, the National Player of the Year in 2015 when he led the Badgers to the NCAA Finals, losing to Duke after a scintillating win over Kentucky. The 7-footer was drafted 9th overall by the Charlotte Hornets. He spent 4 seasons there, averaging 10 points and 4 rebounds in 22 minutes a game. Kaminsky then played in Phoenix, in Atlanta, and in Houston in reserve roles. He then went to Europe to play and was playing for the Toronto Raptors G League team before a recent knee surgery. The fact that he stayed in basketball and played in the G League warms our hearts. Happy birthday.
I love him, Tony. His mother, his aunt, and his uncle are 3 of the greatest athletes in the history of Northwestern, and he goes to Wisconsin? It just makes me crazy, even whatever it is now, 15, 18 years later, we didn't have Frank.
Happy anniversary, Hideo Nomo. On this day 24 years ago, Nomo threw a 3-0 no-hitter for the Red Sox against the Orioles and became the 4th pitcher ever to have no-hitters in both leagues. Nomo previously threw a 9-0 no-hitter for the Dodgers in Colorado, where nobody throws a no-hitter. Nomo joined a club with Cy Young, Jim Bunning, and Nolan Ryan. In the ensuing 24 years, only Randy Johnson has joined that club with no-hitters for Seattle and Arizona. Ryan, by the way, has the most no-hitters ever, 7, 6 in the American League for California and Texas, and 1 in Houston, which was then in the National League.
Tony, will managers and their advisors even leave pitchers in the game long enough this season for anybody to have a no-hitter? I wonder.
Hope so. Happy trails to the wait for the women's Final Four. The games tip off in Tampa tonight at 7 Eastern. First up is Texas and South Carolina. The 2 teams split a pair of conference games earlier this season before the Gamecocks waxed the Longhorns in the SEC Conference Tournament Final. Tonight's second matchup features UConn and UCLA at 9:30 Eastern. The stars to watch in that one are Paige Beckers, who scored 105 points in her last 3 games, and Lauren Betts, who's averaging 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game in the tournament. Tonight's winners will meet in Sunday's title game. Wilbon, who you got?
Tony, you know I'm rooting for South Carolina and UCLA. I mean, that's just, let's be honest about it. But UConn, man, UConn with Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd, and I'm worried about UCLA, worried about them in that game, but I can't wait to watch both games tonight.
All right, let's go to the big finish if we could. Giannis had 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 20 assists in a win over the Sixers. Are you impressed?
Yes, and he's playing point guard. He's out there doing that with no Dame. I still hope they get Dame back. I bet they're going to get Dame back. Hoping, fingers crossed. Two-time WNBA MVP Elena Delle Donne, who I know you like a lot. She retired. How are you going to remember her career?
She won a championship in Washington, D.C. That's how I'm going to remember it. It's the only one the Mystics have ever won, I believe. Blues beat the Penguins for their 11th straight win, and the Bruins fell to the Canadiens for their 10th straight loss. Which is the bigger deal?
Hey, wait a minute. Don't forget Winnipeg shutting out the Golden Knights in Vegas, and they're like third. Come on now. Got a write-in candidate. Jose Altuve struck out 5 times in a game for the first time in his career. Is that a big deal, though, Tom?
No, because he's batting .321. No, it's fine. Last one, Blackhawks and Capitals tonight. Will Ovechkin score?
2 goals. Not going to break it tonight.
Really?
2 goals for Ovi against the
Blackhawks.
Blackhawks.
That would tie it. We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Appreciate you. If you made it this far, you made it to your sports moment. I'm your host, S. Dot, and we appreciate you. Go ahead, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and most of all, don't forget to leave a comment. First of all, looks like the topic of discussion is, should the Giants draft Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders? Well, it looks like everybody's stating that Travis Hunter is going to be picked over Shedeur Sanders. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. I mean, the Giants already have 2 quarterback veterans that they've signed to a pretty good deal in the league, which means whoever they draft is going to be a bench warmer. I don't see them drafting someone to come out from college to be starting over the veterans that they drafted, which is why I think they will draft Travis Hunter. Now, Travis Hunter is a great football player. He has done some things that you haven't seen many football players do. He is a generational talent. But if I had to choose, I would choose Shedeur Sanders over Travis Hunter. Reason being, because Shedeur has been born and bred for this moment. He has been born and bred for, like Dion said, the naysayers, the ignorant ones, the haters. He's a darn Sanders, just like Dion stated. I mean, I would want Shedeur to be drafted later in the draft because I want him to go to a good team. I don't want him to go to a team where he has to do it all. Not saying that he can't, but I want him to go to a team where he has a couple of weapons, where he has maybe a nice O-line to protect him. I mean, you gotta understand, being drafted first in the draft, you're basically going to be put on a team that has nothing. You're put on a team that has the worst record from last year. Mostly meaning you're going to go to the Browns. Every quarterback that has been drafted by the Browns has had a hard start in the league due to injuries, due to losses, due to not being able to carry a team of themselves. Football is a team sport, is a full team sport. The only person I've ever seen that could carry a team by themselves was Michael Vick. He is a Virginia native, which I am also. And Michael Vick was next level talent. He could throw the ball better than most. He could run better than most running backs. I mean, if they had him as a receiver, he probably could catch better than most receivers. Michael Vick is probably the best football player that I have ever witnessed. It's sad to say that his career was cut short due to some decisions that his family made with the whole dog fighting thing. But that's another subject. But to get back to it, Shedeur Sanders, he was born for this. Travis Hunter, I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm not saying he can't carry a team. But if history proves itself, most players who have to do it themselves can't. For reasons being, if you don't have an O-line, you can't get enough time to throw the ball. If you don't have someone you can throw it to, no one's going to catch it. If you don't have running backs who can at least get you a couple of first downs, then you're going to have to throw at least 60 to 70 times a game. And that's a lot for anyone. But the real question is, why is the Sanders name not being put up there in the same football royalty category as the Manning name? The Manning brothers, they've come into the league and they've shown that they could play, that they could ball out. But they have not gotten the same treatment that the Sanders name is getting. I mean, their father was a great player. Peyton Manning was a great player. Eli Manning is a great player. They all have championships. They have a younger brother who's going to be coming into the league. He's shown that he could play. But their name is up here in football royalty. Deion has set the playing field for his sons to be treated in the same manner. Why have they not been treated that way? Deion played more than one sports in the major leagues and in the NFL at the same damn time. Plus, his sons have shown that they could dominate a game in college. Why is there so much ignorance around the Sanders name? That's a question that we need to talk about. Let me hear y'all comments about what y'all think about why is the Manning name up here and the Sanders name down here, when they both are football royalty. They both are Hall of Fame names. They both have, won big championships, and they both have, done great things in the league. And they both have sons that has played, done great things, and that is going to play and do great things. But when the Mannings came into the league, they didn't get any of this ignorance. So go ahead and leave a comment. Let's talk about that, because I think that's a discussion that needs to be said. So let me ask you this. Why is the Manning name put higher than the Sanders name? Let's talk about it. Go ahead, leave a like. Don't forget to leave that subscribe. But most of all, leave a comment. We appreciate y'all for making it this far. Look forward to the next videos that we post. We do post a video every day. We appreciate y'all for making it this far. And we'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace.